What's going on, YouTube? Now, before we get going with week 5 of the NFL predictions, I know most of y'all are used to seeing me have like a C4 and open up a can of C4 before we get started, but I've already drank one today and I have one left, which I am saving for tomorrow. But in the meantime, until I can go grab some more, got ourselves a lovely Coke flute. So now, I know I don't normally do this on camera, but I figured since I said this in one of my Star Wars Battlefront Galactic Conquest episodes, this is just showing you guys the realness that is filming. What it's really like being a content creator. All right, so let's dig right on in with these Week 5 NFL predictions. First game we have on the list here. Again, I'm going to show you guys this real quick. I'm just reading them off of my phone. I have Google pulled up here, as you guys can see. And the first game that's at the top here, Colts, Broncos. The Colts won that game by a score of 12-9. And guys, if I remember correctly, I had the Broncos winning that game. Although at the same time, I don't think I did make a prediction for that game. But if I did, I'll leave that prediction in the comments below or in the description. I'll put it somewhere. And if not, obviously, you guys will know it won't be there. Anyway, a lot of people, I was watching that game on Amazon Prime. Now, normally I'm at my brother's house watching that game. I'm normally at my brother's house watching Thursday night games because, well, one, my parents own the Amazon Prime account. So there's no way for me to watch it down here. But thanks to Twitch, Amazon Prime has their own Twitch channel. So for those of you that don't have Amazon Prime, but you guys have Twitch, I encourage you guys to go find Amazon Prime's Twitch channel so that way you can start watching some Thursday night football games over on that channel. But anyway, as I was saying, a lot of people in that chat was talking crap about Matt Ryan. But see, here's what people don't realize. Like, people were saying he's washed, he's not as good as he was anymore. And what people don't realize is the Colts' offensive line, it's not as good as it was hyped up to be before this season began. During that game, they were playing with second string and third string offensive linemen. Matt Ryan still drove them down the field and ultimately gave them he gave them the drive that they needed to kick that game-winning field goal. Now, ultimately, the game ended with a Stephon Gilmore interception, but that interception would not have won them the game if Matty Ice didn't drive the Colts down the field. Now, if that's what Matt Ryan can do with second string and third string offensive linemen, imagine what he can do with veteran linemen. Matt Ryan is better than you guys think he is. And I've been saying this from the very beginning. Since the very start of this season. The Colts, they don't have as good of an offensive line as they were hyped up to be before the season started. Now, like I said, imagine what Matt Ryan can do when he does have a good offensive line. Now, if you guys remember correctly, the last time Matt Ryan had a good offensive line was during his MVP year with the Atlanta Falcons. And Matt Ryan led them all the way to the Super Bowl. Yet they ultimately lost when the Patriots made probably one of the biggest comebacks in NFL history. And yet the Atlanta Falcons lost that Super Bowl game to the New England Patriots. But Matt Ryan right now is still proving that he has it. He's not washed up, guys. He is not washed up at all. Because if he was, I guarantee you guys, the Broncos would have won that game. Now, you might be able to say the same thing about Russell Wilson. And unfortunately, I'm not saying unfortunately like it's a bad thing, but to some of you guys that are Seahawk fans that loved Russell Wilson, and to those of you that are Broncos fans that are also fans of Russell Wilson, it would be somewhat unfortunate for you guys. Russell Wilson looks like he doesn't have it. Russell Wilson is the one that looks like that doesn't have it anymore. Now, the Broncos don't really have that good of a team either, which is why it was such a low-scoring game. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to eat my Coke float before it melts. Anyway, moving on. The next game we got tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. The reason why it's going to be at 8:30 because it's another London game between the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers. Now, like I said, with Aaron Rodgers starting to pick things up and with him he's starting to spread the ball around a little bit more. He's readjusting himself and relearning to spread the ball around. Because, like I've mentioned before, he doesn't have Davante Adams that he can always rely on. He doesn't have him anymore. The Packers don't have him anymore. So, but then again, the Giants, they don't really have that good of a team. So, I think that's going to be advantage Green Bay. So, like, come on. Green Bay beat Tampa Bay. Green Bay Packers beat Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, in which I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that game. So, I'm going to have to go with Green Bay this time because the New York Giants aren't as good of a football team as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going to have to go with Green Bay on this one. Next game, Patriots, Lions. This one is going to be a close game to call because neither team is good. So it's going to be another low scoring game. Not as low scoring as the Colts Broncos game, but sort of a low scoring game nonetheless. But since I have to pick one of those two teams, I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots. Of course, the Lions have been surprising me as of late with their 30-point, 40-point games. But Bill Belichick is still the coach of the New England Patriots. And it is very hard to outcoach Belichick in the second half of any game. So I'm going to have to go with the New England Patriots winning that game. Next up, another 12 o'clock game, the second of the 12 o'clock games. We have the Chargers, we have the Browns. I'm going to have to go with the Chargers in this one because if the Cleveland Browns if they've been barely winning their games, especially against my Panthers, then they are in for a rude awakening against the Chargers and their defense. So I'm going to have to go with the Los Angeles Chargers and their defense to make pretty good stops, if that makes sense. And I'm going to have to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win that game. Next up, Jaguars, Texans. Texans have yet to win a game. But they have been putting up 30, 40-point games as well. Somewhere between 20 to 40-point games, in which the Jaguars have yet to do, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. But I think this is where the Houston Texans are going to finally win their first game of the season. I'm going to have to go with the Houston Texans to win this game. Because the Jaguars, as of late, has been known to blow the lead. And doesn't that sound familiar? Yeah, I'm talking to you, Carolina. Next up, Falcons, Buccaneers. I'm going to have to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. Because the Falcons, they're not as good as the Green Bay Packers are, which makes them somewhat an easier of an opponent. So I'm going to have to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next up, we have, the fifth 12 o'clock game? Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Game number 5 of the 12 o'clock games. We have the Steelers, we have the Bills, and I have the Bills winning that game. See what I did there? I have the Buffalo Bills winning this game. Because, the Steelers, they're still trying to look for an identity. They're still trying to figure themselves out as a team. As compared to where the Bills looks like they are kind of almost established as a Super Bowl contender. If they aren't already. So I'm going to have to go with the Buffalo Bills to win this game. Next up, Dolphins, Jets. I've got the Dolphins winning that. There is no way the Jets are going to be able to pull off an upset over the Dolphins. And Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki, I think that's his name. Of course, I don't think they will have Tua playing either. I don't think the Dolphins will have Tua playing either. So Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to start this game against one of his former teams. Because if I remember correctly, Bridgewater was once a New York Jet. My favorite part about a Coke float, guys. When you have all this, when you have this, ice cream and soda mixture at the bottom, because, as you're eating the ice cream on top, there's some ice cream that was part of the bottom scoops that melt into the soda and it mixes in with the soda. And if you're if you have a mug like I have right here, best part about a float, guys, when you can drink it from the bottom. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna have to go with the Dolphins to win that game. Next game, Bears, Vikings. I'm gonna have to go with the Bears. Because somehow, someway, the Bears always find a way to barely squeak by with a win. Now, that wasn't the case for them last week, but they are going up against somewhat a little bit of an easier an opponent than, say, Green Bay or Tampa Bay. Nonetheless, they are going up against a team that isn't necessarily a Super Bowl contender just yet. So I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Bears to win this game. Next game we have on here, we have the Titans, we have the Commanders. The Titans have been picking themselves up as of late, so I'm going to have to go with the Titans to win this game. Next up, we have the last game of the 12 o'clock games. We have Seattle and we have New Orleans. The Saints haven't been really looking like the New Orleans Saints of old. You know, back when they had Drew Brees, they're not really looking as dominant of a team. Or, for example, they're not really looking as good as they were when Jameis Winston first took over the starting quarterback job of the Saints that year, which was the year after Brees retired. So I'm going to have to go with the Seattle Seahawks to defeat the New Orleans Saints. And nonetheless, that would help me and my Panthers because the Panthers and the Saints are in the same division. Speaking of Carolina, the first 3 o'clock game tomorrow, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Carolina Panthers. And as always, guys, my heart is telling me Carolina because you guys know I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, and I have been ever since 2011. Been with the Panthers through thick and thin, through good seasons and bad. So my heart wants to say the Panthers, but if our offense doesn't play well, it's going to be all San Francisco, man. So this is the first time you guys are going to hear me root. This is, well, not root, but this is the first time you guys are going to hear me predict the team other than Carolina to win. Because I'm going to have to go with the San Francisco 49ers, unfortunately. Because if you guys saw that game between the Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals, well, you'll know why. But I do hope they win, though. I do hope the Panthers win. And I will always be rooting for my Panthers, whether I'm betting against them or not. Because at heart, guys, at heart, I am always rooting for my Panthers, and I always will. Panthers fan for life. Next game, we have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. I was messaging my buddy, shout out to my buddy, Wyatt. He is an Arizona Cardinals fan. And we were talking about this specific game not too long ago. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals may have gotten a win over the Panthers, but I think this is going to be a big fat L for the Cardinals because I'm going to have to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game because their defense, y'all, the Eagles' defense has been playing absolutely tremendous. And I'm not over exaggerating that at all. Like, seriously, 4-0, 5-0 now? What are they, 4-0, 5-0? Still unbeaten, if I remember correctly. Let's actually take a look at that. Yeah, 4-0. So, I believe the Philadelphia Eagles is going to win at least one more, improve to 5-0, as I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to get the W over the Arizona Cardinals. Next up, Cowboys, Rams. The last game for the 3 o'clock games. Well, not necessarily 3 o'clock. It's more like 3:25, 3:30. But still, 3 o'clock nonetheless. Cowboys, Rams. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys because the Los Angeles Rams have not been looking like the Los Angeles Rams of old. And what I mean by that, they're not looking like the Los Angeles Rams from last season when they went all the way to the Super Bowl and won it. So I'm going to have to go with the Dallas Cowboys to defeat the Rams. Next up, the last game for tomorrow at 7:20 for the Sunday night game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. And that game, guys, it's also going to be somewhat a close game. Not necessarily a low-scoring game, but it's not going to be a high-scoring game either. It's not necessarily going to be a high-scoring game either. I think it's going to be a close back-and-forth battle in which the winner, I think, will be the Baltimore Ravens. That is the last game for Sunday. As we move in to the Monday night game, we have the Raiders, we have the Chiefs, and I've got the Chiefs winning that game. Because the Chiefs have been doing pretty well this season. And I mean pretty freaking well. 30 to 40 point games. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, I would not be surprised if we see another Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs AFC Championship game. I would not be surprised at all. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs, like I just said. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs winning that game. And that game tomorrow is going to be the Monday night game at 7 o'clock, 7:15. Whichever way you want to, whichever way you want to say it. My phone says 7:15, but if you round it up, guys, it could go either way, 7:30 or 7 o'clock. Because if you do basic math here, what's 15 plus 15? 30. It would be 15 minutes from 7 o'clock to 7:15, and from 7:15 to 7:30, it is also 30 minutes. So, that is it for week 5 predictions, guys. If you guys like that video, if you guys like this video and like the series, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and join the Wolf Squad fam. And guys, I will see y'all in week 6. I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day or night. And I will see you guys in week 6. James Tate, out.